Hi, friends. Um, I've had a lovely Sunday morning. I spent all of it with Annalise. She woke up earlier than I might have preferred. She's been up since 5:15, and we spent the morning doing some exercises, and then we made breakfast, and then we went to the park and rode her bike, and then we played on the playground, and then we played in the leaves in the neighborhood. It was a full physical morning for the girl. And but oh my god, I feel like I've been sitting here going, this is what every Sunday should be like. And I've got the little meter running in the back of my head going, how many more hours do I need to do on this project? I should be investing hours in this thing. But how wonderful to just ignore that and do something like this. And it's funny because I had a thought the other day while I was hanging out with Annalise that gave me I was like, I should do a post on this and sort of explore it a little bit because I something was happening that was really kind of blowing my mind. Um, and it just and so then it ballooned into another whole series of thoughts, which I will break down for you now. But basically, what happened was we were somewhere. We might have even been driving. I forget where we were now. Or we were at a store or something. I had her for the last couple of days. I've had her several afternoons and just done whatever I needed to do with her. And she, out of the blue, in the middle of one of our conversations, found a moment to reference a line from one of her books and just threw it in casually as a reference. And the reason why I clocked it is because I was like, wait, she's saying something where the words don't actually intersect with the meaning of what's happening here, but she clearly knows that they do. And so then but I couldn't really remember it took me a minute to remember the quote from the book, like which book this was and what character was saying it and all that. And once I clocked it, I was like, oh, that's what she's doing. She's throwing in a reference. And the reference was totally appropriate. The reference made the words, which on the face of it made no sense in the conversation, make perfect sense in the conversation because they were not the words themselves. They were a reference to something else. And that's when I was like, damn, she's doing that. What flashed for me was it was like a social media meme thing, where there's these little images or phrases or short clips that just become viral bites of communication that mean far more than the actual clip itself, because the meaning of the clip is not simply the meaning on the face of it. The meaning is all the associations and potentially the history or the genesis of the thing, or the way it's been employed. There's a whole culture of that on social media now, and it was just amazing. What blew my mind about it was she was doing that. She's not on social media. She's never even, we make sure she never sees a phone. There's no reason for her awareness to be doing this, but she has but she's tapped in it. This is when I was like, oh my Lord, collective evolution of consciousness is a thing, because she's cognitively doing what we're all doing, what the culture is doing, and doing so within her own frame of reference, with her own references. But it was really kind of like watching someone execute a function that she's never been taught, and that you would think she doesn't have the context for, and you would think she doesn't have the experience of anybody of that. You can do that, I don't know. I don't know if this is something. I don't get the sense that she picked up this idea for throwing in references here and there from the way that Katie and I communicate with her. That's not where she's getting it. I feel like she's absorbing it. She's just like, this is what the culture does now. I'm living in this moment of human evolution, of the human evolution of consciousness. So I communicate in this way. I know how to take a tiny, tiny little packet of information and make it mean a lot more than it seems to, Anyway, it blew my mind. And so it's really interesting to spend time with someone who's that young, but also a total product of the culture of the culture of now, of the culture of this day and age. And she's, I don't mean to say a product of the culture in a kind of like abstract way, but this is the context of her life. This is where she's living. Now is the time she's alive, and she's part of it, and she's just in the mix. and she gets how things work now. So that's just been so much fun to witness her doing that, and it kind of, it really did remind me and sort of spark for me, wow, this collective thing, like it's unbelievable that, if we think this is a myth or this is somehow new agey, fancy kind of like, abstract or abstruse or fuzzy think, it is not. I keep getting the message over and over and over again that this connection, this kind of psychic level connection among the collective, among individuals and among the collective, is absolutely a thing. It is absolutely a thing. I've even been kind of experimenting with Annalise, because sometimes she'll there was a time, I think I even did a post about this ages ago, where I was putting her down to sleep, and I was lying next to her, and anytime I would get up to move, I would be lying there and I'd think, okay, I think she's down, I think she's asleep, I think I can get up and go now to my own bed. Well, anytime I started to move, she would say, no, Papa, stop, stay here. She would just respond, like it would be out of like what seemed like the dead of sleep. She would sense that I was moving, and then she would say, no, stop. So it got to where I would move less and less, to where I would like just sort of like really slowly start to go, and she would catch me. And it got to where it built all the way to the place where the last time I did not move. I didn't do a thing. I just had the thought, maybe I can go now. She seems settled. And I psychically started to move, and she immediately was like, no, Papa, don't go. And I was like, whoa, she's reading my mind. This is amazing. And so since then, I've always had this sense, like, okay, she's communicating on that level. She's perceptive on that level, and she's both giving and receiving on that level. And so every once in a while, we'll play a game where like we say something, but we don't say it out loud. I'll just think it, and then we'll, we kind of have like trying to like thought communicate, basically. I have no hard evidence that this is what's happening, but I'm running an experiment with her because it seems like she's tapped into that. And but anyway, it's what again, just coming back to this idea that it blows my mind to witness a being that's also still so open to that, because there's for someone who has that level of sensitivity and that level of just psychic presence and consciousness, it's not a big deal. It's not like there's no, she will have to be taught that this is not how things work. So I'd just rather not teach her that. I'd rather teach, why get in the way of her perception that this is how things work, that this is how communication can happen, and that this, and that she can simply download the cultural like operating system and start throwing it at me in the park. I'm not going to say no to that. I'm not going to tell her, honey, that's not how it works. You needed to have learned this somewhere. How do I know? What do I really know? But like what it immediately is sort of like explodes. I mean, into a million smithereens. What education actually would mean, or what, even what parenting kind of means, because on what level am I parenting? Am I parenting is my perception of parenting happening on the external level strictly? Am I limited to that? Or do I realize that what I'm thinking in my mind is also parenting? Because I've had the experience of her literally reading my mind. So if that's what's happening, am I parenting on that level? Am I engaging on? Am I just aware of what I'm doing on all those levels? It just reframes everything. It reframes everything, and it's so, on some level, it's so hopeful, because my God, if a toddler can download like the culture and just start swimming in that water and like running the operating, it's like she gets the iOS upgrade just like she goes to sleep one night and like sleeps for an extra hour, and she wakes up with a new whole software platform to throw at the world. So that's just it's so incredible to see that, and to think, well, okay, what if we engaged with that consciously? What if instead of just letting that be the way it works, but not really engaging with it, what if we understood that? And I think we're in our infancy as far as how we would even go about that, but it's certainly interesting to ruminate on. And at the same time, it also feels like a pretty giant responsibility, because like, clearly she's operating on a level that already for me stretches me. It stretches and I'm predisposed to, not just believing that these things are possible, but having some limited experience of them, and especially as a teacher, and seeing how students respond to my energy, to my thinking, to the way that I engage with them. I'm somebody who's, I would say, relatively, I'm a good bet. If you're going to try and sell this idea as this is how things work, I'd be a good person to sell it to, because I'm open to it, and I have I'm predisposed to having buy-in. And yet here I have this little 3-year-old who stretches me, and it's like, whoa, for her this is just totally normal. Can I keep up? Can I evolve myself? Can I stay in the game and be not just able to follow that, but also able to lead her and orient her, and give her the tools, give her the support, give her the foundation that she needs to be that sensitive in this world. That's because God knows that's not easy. The more sensitive we are, in a lot of ways, the world can start to just kind of be overwhelming if we're not careful. So got all that going on too, but it's a whole picture, and the upshot of it is just this incredible kind of like, wow, isn't this amazing? And watching a being emerge that sort of manifests the possibilities of humanity it's kind of cool. That makes for a very, very nice Sunday morning, for sure. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you, because it's kind of been blowing my mind for a day or two. But thanks for watching, people. So much love. Appreciate you. Oh my God. Have a wonderful rest of your holiday weekend. Can't wait to see you tomorrow.